Alex had always been an avid player of Roblox, spending hours on end exploring the vast virtual worlds and creating his own games. He had built a community around his online persona, a bright blue avatar with a goofy grin and a penchant for adventure. But not everyone was a fan of Alex's antics. A group of toxic players had taken it upon themselves to make Alex's life online as miserable as possible. They would mock him in the chat, calling him names like noob and loser every time he made a mistake or tried to join their game. At first, Alex thought it was just kids being mean-spirited, but soon the taunts escalated into full-blown bullying. The group started sending Alex death threats via private messages, telling him they'd find out where he lived and come after him in real life. They would spam his chat with vile comments, making sure to include as many graphic details as possible. Alex tried to ignore them, but it was hard to shake off the feeling of unease that lingered long after he logged off. One particularly disturbing message still haunts Alex's memory. "We'll kill you and your family in real life, you pathetic little gamer." The words seemed to sear themselves into his brain, making him wonder if these guys were actually capable of carrying out their threats. He tried to report them to Roblox moderators, but the response was lukewarm at best. The mods would acknowledge Alex's complaints and promise to look into it, but nothing ever seemed to change. The harassment continued unabated, with Alex being subjected to a barrage of hate messages and vile comments every time he logged on. It got to the point where he didn't dare play his favorite games anymore, fearing that these toxic players would be waiting for him. Alex tried everything to avoid them, creating new avatars, playing at off-peak hours, even changing his username in an attempt to throw them off his trail. But no matter what he did, they always seemed to find him. It was like they had a sixth sense for tracking him down and pouncing on him the moment he let his guard down. As the days turned into weeks, Alex began to feel like he was losing himself in the process of trying to avoid these bullies. He would get anxious before logging on, wondering what kind of abuse he'd face today. His grades started slipping at school as he struggled to focus on anything except the toxic gamers who seemed determined to ruin his life. It's funny how online anonymity can both protect and harm us in equal measure. Alex had thought that being a faceless avatar would make him invincible, but it turned out to be just the opposite, a recipe for disaster waiting to happen. The sense of security he once felt while playing online was now nothing more than a distant memory. The worst part is that Roblox seemed completely indifferent to his plight. They'd respond with canned apologies and assurances that they were doing their best to address the issue, but it was clear that they had no idea how severe the problem really was. Alex started to feel like just another statistic, a minor blip on the radar of online harassment. But he knew he wasn't alone in this. There are countless others out there who have suffered similar fates at the hands of toxic gamers and moderators who seem more interested in protecting themselves than their users. It's a disturbing trend that raises questions about accountability, moderation, and the darker side of human nature. For Alex, it was time to take matters into his own hands, or rather, find the courage to stand up for himself despite the odds against him. He knew it wouldn't be easy, but he couldn't just sit back and let these bullies ruin his life. The question is, will Roblox ever listen? As Alex dug deeper into the mystery of the relentless bullying on Roblox, he began to uncover a sinister plot that would shake him to his core. It started with a hunch, a nagging feeling that something wasn't quite right about the way the bullies were always one step ahead of the platform's moderators. Alex remembered how they seemed to be able to post hurtful comments and memes in real time, as if they were literally watching him from another world. And then there was the fact that no matter what he did to block or report them, they just kept coming back. It was like they had an endless supply of avatars and accounts at their disposal. Determined to get to the bottom of it, Alex started digging into the dark corners of Roblox's online community. He spent hours scouring forums, social media groups, and even Reddit threads where users shared their experiences with harassment on the platform. And that's when he stumbled upon a crucial piece of information. Some users were talking about how the bullies were using virtual private networks, or VPN. Alex knew that VPNs could be used for legitimate purposes like accessing geo-restricted content or protecting one's online identity. But in this case, it seemed like the bullies were hiding behind them to mask their IP addresses. This was a game changer if Alex could figure out how they were setting up these VPNs and who was behind them. He might finally be able to put an end to the harassment. As he delved deeper into the world of VPNs on Roblox, Alex discovered that the bullies were using a specific type of VPN service called NordVPN. He wasn't sure if it was a coincidence or something more sinister, but what really caught his attention was when some users started sharing screenshots of their browser histories, showing that they had been on the NordVPN website just before joining Roblox. Alex's eyes widened as he pieced together the puzzle. These bullies weren't just random trolls. They were part of a larger operation. And it seemed like they had an inside man, someone who knew exactly how to set up and use VPNs on Roblox to avoid detection. But little did Alex know that this was only the tip of the iceberg. The group's leader, known as Dark Viper, was about to reveal himself in all his glory. As Alex dug deeper into Dark Viper's online presence, he discovered a shocking truth. Dark Viper wasn't just any ordinary user. He was actually a former Roblox developer. Alex couldn't believe what he was reading. A former developer, someone who had once been part of the platform's inner circle, was now using his expertise to orchestrate harassment on a massive scale. It seemed like a betrayal of the highest order. How could someone who had contributed to building a community that was supposed to be safe and welcoming for all users turn against it in such a way? The more Alex learned about Dark Viper, the more he realized that this wasn't just about bullying. It was about power. And not just any kind of power, but the kind of power that comes with being able to manipulate and control an entire community. As Alex dug deeper into Dark Viper's background, he discovered a disturbing revelation. Dark Viper had created a botnet, a network of compromised computers that could be used to carry out all sorts of malicious activities on Roblox. The botnet was like an army of zombie accounts, each one controlled by Dark Viper and his cohorts. Alex felt a chill run down his spine as he thought about the scale of what he had uncovered: a group of users using a botnet to harass others on a massive platform like Roblox. It sounded like something out of a sci-fi movie. But this was all too real, and Alex knew that he had stumbled upon something much bigger than himself. The online nightmare that had started with just a few mean comments had turned into an epic battle between good and evil, or at least, it felt that way to Alex. And as he gazed out into the vast expanse of Roblox's virtual landscape, he wondered what other secrets lay hidden in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. As the days went by, Alex couldn't shake off the feeling that he was in over his head. The constant harassment from Dark Viper and its botnet had taken a toll on him, but he refused to back down. That's when he stumbled upon an unlikely ally, a fellow gamer known only by their handle, EpicGamer90. At first, Alex was skeptical about trusting someone new online, especially after the betrayal of his friends, but EpicGamer90 seemed genuinely concerned about the situation. They had been chatting in a private server, and EpicGamer90 revealed that they knew Dark Viper's true identity. It turned out that EpicGamer90 used to be part of an online gaming community where Dark Viper was known as Max, a charismatic but troubled individual who quickly rose to power. Max's online persona was charming and confident, but in real life, he struggled with addiction and anger issues. EpicGamer90 had a history with Max, having witnessed firsthand how he manipulated others to get what he wanted. They knew that behind the Dark Viper mask was just another broken person trying to fill a void. This revelation sparked something within Alex, a sense of solidarity and a determination to bring down the botnet once and for all. Together, Alex and EpicGamer90 hatched a plan to gather concrete evidence of Dark Viper's crimes. They spent countless hours scouring online forums, social media, and even hacking into some of the botnet servers with EpicGamer90 expert help. The more they dug, the more damning the evidence became. They discovered that Dark Viper had been using the botnet to spread malware, steal login credentials, and even extort money from other players. This was not just a case of online harassment, it was cybercrime on a grand scale. With this irrefutable proof in hand, they decided to expose Dark Viper's true identity to the world. The day of reckoning arrived when Alex and EpicGamer90 published their findings in a public statement. The Roblox community was stunned, and the news spread like wildfire through social media. For once, everyone seemed united against a common enemy, the bullies who had brought so much pain and fear into the lives of countless players. The outpouring of support for Alex was overwhelming. Players from all over the world reached out to share their own stories of online harassment, thanking him for being brave enough to speak out. Roblox administrators took notice too, issuing a public statement condemning the botnet's activities and vowing to take action against Dark Viper. As the news cycle continued, Alex felt a weight lift off his shoulders. He had finally found some closure, knowing that he was not alone in this fight. With Epic Gamer 90 by his side, he realized that even the darkest corners of the internet could be exposed and defeated with courage and determination.